The grand halls of the Galactic Council buzzed with excitement. Beings from 1,000 worlds filled the chamber, their diverse forms a testament to the vastness of the universe. Among them, a small group of humans stood out, their plain suits a stark contrast to the colorful and exotic attire of the alien representatives. John Smith, the leader of Earth's delegation, felt his heart race. This was it. After years of preparation, Earth was finally ready to join the galactic community. He glanced at his team, seeing the same mix of hope and nervousness on their faces. As they approached the central platform, whispers rippled through the crowd. Many alien species had never seen a human before. Some looked curious, others skeptical. The council elder, a tall, blue-skinned being with 4 arms, raised them for silence. "We now hear the petition of Earth to join the Galactic Council," its voice boomed. John stepped forward, clearing his throat. "Honored members of the Council," he began, his voice steady despite his nerves. "Earth comes before you today as a young but eager species. We have achieved faster than light travel and have begun to explore the stars. We seek to learn from you and contribute to the greater galactic community." He went on to list Earth's achievements, their rapid technological advancement, their rich cultural heritage, their desire for peace and progress. As he spoke, John felt confident. Surely they would see Earth's potential. But as he finished, he noticed something unsettling. Many council members were exchanging looks. Some were even snickering behind their hands, or tentacles, or whatever appendages they had. The council elder spoke again. "We have heard Earth's petition. Now we shall deliberate." The humans were ushered to a waiting area. Hours passed. John paced nervously, while his team sat in tense silence. Finally, they were called back. The atmosphere in the chamber had changed. It felt colder, less welcoming. The council elder's voice was flat as it delivered the verdict. "After careful consideration, the Galactic Council has decided to deny Earth's petition for membership." A gasp went up from the human delegation. John felt like he'd been punched in the gut. "But why?" he managed to ask. Another council member, a reptilian creature, stood up. "Frankly, your species is too primitive," it hissed. "Your technology is centuries behind ours. Your understanding of the universe is laughably limited. You've barely left your own solar system. And let's not forget their violent history," chimed in another alien. "Always at war with each other. How can we trust them in our peaceful council?" More voices joined in, each criticism cutting deeper than the last. Unworthy, uncivilized, potential threat. The words swirled around John, each one a blow to his pride and hope. The humans stood there, shocked and humiliated. John tried to protest, to argue their case, but his words fell on deaf ears. The council had made up its mind. As they were escorted out, John caught sight of their reflection in a shiny wall panel. They looked small, insignificant compared to the grand aliens around them. For the first time, he truly felt like a primitive creature in a world far beyond his understanding. The journey back to Earth was silent and somber. Each member of the delegation was lost in their own thoughts, replaying the humiliation over and over. As their ship approached the familiar blue marble of their home, John made a decision. He gathered his team. "They think we're primitive, unworthy," he said, his voice low but intense. "Then we'll show them. We'll prove them wrong. This isn't the end. It's just the beginning." Looking into the determined faces of his team, John knew that Earth wouldn't take this lying down. Somehow, someday, they would return to that council. And next time, things would be very different. The ship landed, carrying not just the disappointed delegation, but the seeds of Earth's bold revenge. The news of Earth's rejection spread like wildfire. People were angry, hurt, and confused. How could the galaxy see them as primitive when they had achieved so much? In a secret underground facility, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, world leaders gathered. The room was tense, filled with the quiet murmur of urgent discussions. John Smith stood at the front, his face grim. "We've been humiliated," he said, his voice echoing in the chamber. "But we won't stay down. It's time for Earth to show the galaxy what we're truly capable of." The President of the United States nodded. "What do you propose, John?" John took a deep breath. "A secret program. We pour all our resources into advancing our technology. We'll catch up to the galactic standard and then surpass it." The room erupted in discussion. Some were skeptical, others excited. But as John laid out his plan, more and more leaders began to nod in agreement. "It won't be easy," the Chinese premier said. "We'll need to work together like never before." "Then that's what we'll do," the Russian president replied, surprising everyone. "Earth stands united." And so, Operation Starlight was born. Over the next few years, Earth changed. On the surface, life went on as usual. But behind the scenes, a revolution was taking place. In hidden labs across the globe, scientists worked tirelessly. They cracked the secrets of antimatter propulsion, developed energy shields, and pushed the boundaries of artificial intelligence. Military bases became testing grounds for new weapons. Soldiers trained with advanced gear, preparing for battles in zero-gravity and alien atmospheres. But it wasn't just about military might. Earth's best minds tackled problems that had plagued humanity for centuries. They found cures for diseases, developed clean energy solutions, and created new forms of sustainable agriculture. All of this was done in absolute secrecy. The world's governments, once divided, now worked as one to keep the project hidden from prying alien eyes. John Smith oversaw it all. He traveled from facility to facility, encouraging the workers, solving problems, and keeping everyone focused on their goal. One day, 5 years into the project, John stood in a massive underground hangar. Before him loomed a sleek spaceship, unlike anything Earth had ever built before. Dr. Emily Chen, the lead engineer, stood beside him. "She's ready, John," Emily said, pride evident in her voice. "The HSS Redemption. Faster, stronger, and more advanced than anything in the galaxy." John nodded, a small smile on his face. "And the rest of the fleet?" "Coming along nicely," Emily replied. "We'll have a dozen ships ready within the month." As they talked, a young lieutenant rushed up to them. "Sir," he said, saluting John, "we've just received word from our deep space probes. The Galactic Council is holding another open session in 3 months." John's eyes gleamed. "Perfect timing," he said. "Inform all project leads. It's time to take our work out of the shadows." The next few weeks were a flurry of activity. Ships were completed and crews trained. New technologies were packed up, ready to be unveiled. Earth's best and brightest prepared to represent humanity once again. On the day of departure, John stood before the assembled crews. Thousands of men and women, the pride of Earth, looked back at him. "5 years ago, we were humiliated," John began. "They called us primitive, unworthy. They laughed at us and sent us home." He paused, looking at the determined faces before him. "But we didn't give up. We worked, we innovated, we pushed ourselves beyond what we thought possible. And now we return to the stars not as supplicants, but as equals." A cheer went up from the crowd. John raised his hand for silence. "Remember, our goal isn't revenge, it's respect. We'll show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. We'll take our rightful place among the stars." As the crews boarded their ships, John felt a mix of pride and nervousness. They had done all they could to prepare. Now it was time to face the galaxy once again. The fleet rose silently from hidden bases around the world. As they broke through Earth's atmosphere, John looked back at the blue planet below. "We won't let you down," he whispered. With a flash of light, the ships engaged their new drives. Earth vanished behind them as they raced towards their destiny among the stars. The grand halls of the Galactic Council buzzed with activity once again. Alien delegates from across the galaxy mingled, discussing the latest interstellar politics. None of them noticed the sleek, unfamiliar ships approaching the massive space station. Inside the lead ship, the HSS Redemption, John Smith stood on the bridge. He looked at his crew, seeing determination in their eyes. "This is it," he said. "Let's show them what Earth can do." As Earth's fleet neared the station, alarms began to blare. The station's defense systems had never seen ships like these before. Panic spread through the council chambers. Unknown vessels approaching. A security officer shouted, "They're not responding to hails." The council elder rushed to the communication panel. "Unidentified ships. This is the Galactic Council. State your business or be fired upon." John smiled and pressed a button. His face appeared on screens throughout the station. Many aliens gasped, recognizing the human from 5 years ago. "Greetings, Galactic Council," John said calmly. "Earth requests permission to dock and present its petition for membership." Again. Confusion rippled through the council. These couldn't be Earth ships. They were too advanced, too sleek, too powerful. The council elder, trying to hide its shock, replied, "Earth? But how? Your technology has advanced," John finished. "We've been busy. Now about that docking permission." Flustered, the council had no choice but to agree. As the Earth ships docked, whispers spread through the station. Who were these humans? How had they progressed so quickly? John led his delegation through the station. Aliens stopped and stared as they passed. The humans wore sleek uniforms, carried advanced devices, and walked with confidence. In the main chamber, the council gathered. Many members shifted uncomfortably as the humans entered. This was not the primitive species they had dismissed 5 years ago. John stepped forward. "Honored members of the council," he began, his voice strong. "Earth comes before you again. We seek to join your ranks not as supplicants, but as equals." He gestured, and his team began setting up displays. Holograms flickered to life, showing Earth's advancements. Clean cities powered by fusion reactors, hospitals where nanorobots cured diseases in minutes, farms that could feed millions in the harshest environments. "In 5 years," John continued, "we've cured diseases that plagued us for centuries. We've solved our energy crisis. We've even begun terraforming Mars." The council members watched in amazement. Some leaned forward, intrigued. Others sat back, looking worried. Next, Emily Chen stepped forward. "Our ships," she said, bringing up a new hologram, "use antimatter drives, giving us unparalleled speed. Our AI systems rival any in the galaxy. And our weapons," she paused, letting the implications sink in. "Well, let's hope we never need to use them." A murmur ran through the council. The reptilian alien who had called humans primitive now spoke up. "This is impossible. No species could advance so quickly." John turned to him, smiling. "Impossible? No. Difficult. Extremely. But that's what humans do best. We face challenges, and we overcome them." He faced the council again. "5 years ago, you called us primitive, unworthy. You said we weren't ready." His voice grew passionate. "You were right. We weren't ready then. But your rejection didn't break us. It motivated us, united us. In trying to keep us out, you pushed us to achieve more than we ever thought possible." The chamber was silent. The council members looked at each other, unsure how to respond. John continued, his voice softer now. "We don't come seeking revenge. We come seeking partnership. We've proven what we can do alone. Imagine what we could achieve together." He spread his arms wide. "So I ask you again, will Earth be welcomed into the Galactic Council?" The council elder stood, its 4 arms raised for silence. It looked at John, then at the other council members. The decision they made now would shape the future of the galaxy. As the council began to deliberate, John and his team waited. They had done all they could. Now, the fate of Earth rested in alien hands. The entire galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The council's deliberation stretched on for hours. John and his team waited patiently, but tension filled the air. The fate of Earth hung in the balance. Finally, the council elder emerged. The chamber fell silent as all eyes turned to the blue-skinned being. After much discussion, the elder began, its voice echoing through the hall. The council has reached a decision. John held his breath. This was the moment they had worked so hard for. Earth's progress is impressive, the elder continued. However, we have concerns. Your rapid advancement is unprecedented. Some fear it could destabilize the galactic balance. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. John's heart sank. Were they about to be rejected again? But the elder wasn't finished. Yet we cannot ignore your achievements. Therefore, we propose a compromise. Earth will be granted provisional membership in the Galactic Council. A collective gasp went up from the assembled aliens. Provisional membership was rare, usually reserved for species that showed great promise but needed guidance. You will have a voice in council matters, the elder explained, but not a vote. Not yet. We will closely observe Earth for the next galactic year. If you prove yourselves trustworthy and beneficial to the galactic community, full membership will be granted. John stepped forward. We accept your terms, he said firmly. Earth thanks you for this opportunity. As the council session ended, aliens swarmed around the human delegation. Some offered congratulations, others wanted to discuss trade deals or technological exchanges. Earth was suddenly the center of attention. But not everyone was pleased. In a shadowy corner, a group of aliens huddled together, speaking in hushed tones. This is unacceptable, hissed a serpentine creature. These humans are a threat. They must be stopped before they gain too much power. Agreed, rumbled a large, rocky being. But how? The council has spoken. A thin, gray alien with large eyes spoke up. Perhaps we don't need the council's approval. There are other ways to deal with upstart species. The group nodded in sinister agreement. A plot was forming, hidden from the celebrating humans. Meanwhile, John was busy networking. He spoke with representatives from dozens of worlds, laying the groundwork for future alliances. One conversation caught his attention. A small, furry alien approached him timidly. "Congratulations, Earth human," it squeaked. "We of Proxima B are most impressed by your achievements." John smiled. "Thank you. I'm afraid I don't know much about Proxima B. Are you members of the council?" The alien's fur rippled in what John guessed was embarrassment. "No. We too were deemed unworthy. But we have watched your progress with great interest." An idea began to form in John's mind. "Perhaps we should talk more," he said. Earth would be interested in forming connections with other emerging species. As John spoke with the Proximan, he noticed other unworthy species watching from the sidelines. Species that had been rejected or overlooked by the council. Each looked at the humans with a mix of admiration and hope. Emily approached John, excitement in her eyes. "You won't believe the tech trades I've already set up," she said. "We're going to learn so much." John nodded, but his mind was elsewhere. "Emily," he said slowly, "I think we have an opportunity here. Not just for Earth, but for all the overlooked species in the galaxy." He explained his idea. Emily's eyes widened as she realized the implications. "It's risky," she said. "The council might not approve." "The council gave us a voice," John replied. "It's time we used it, not just for ourselves, but for all those who have been left behind." As they discussed their plan, neither noticed the furtive glances from the group of dissatisfied aliens. Two plots were forming, each with the potential to reshape the galaxy. Earth had gained a foothold in galactic politics, but the real challenges were just beginning. The next galactic year would determine not just Earth's fate, but potentially the future of the entire Galactic Council. John looked out at the stars visible through the station's windows. "Get ready, galaxy," he muttered. "Earth is here to stay." 6 months into Earth's provisional membership, the galaxy was buzzing with activity. Earth had wasted no time in making its presence felt. John Smith stood before a gathering of representatives from 24 unworthy species. They met in secret on a small, uninhabited moon, far from the watchful eyes of the council. "Friends," John began, his voice echoing in the makeshift chamber, "we've all been judged by the council, found lacking. But together, we can change that." A tentacled alien raised an appendage. "How?" "The council holds all the power." John smiled. "Not all. We have something they don't expect. Unity." He outlined his plan. A coalition of emerging species, pooling their resources and knowledge. They would support each other, trade technology, and present a united front in council matters. "Earth may only have a voice, not a vote," John said, "but many voices together can't be ignored." The gathered aliens murmured excitedly. Hope shone in eyes, tentacles, and sensory organs of all kinds. The furry Proximan delegate spoke up. "We agree to this alliance. Together, we will show the galaxy our worth." One by one, the other species joined. The Galactic Emergence Alliance was born. Meanwhile, in the dark corners of the galaxy, another group was meeting. The dissatisfied council members who had plotted against Earth had grown in number. "The humans are becoming too powerful," growled a large bear-like alien. "And now they're uniting the lesser species." The gray alien with large eyes nodded. "Our agents report they're sharing technology freely. If this continues, the balance of power will shift." "Then we must act now," hissed the serpentine creature. "I have a plan. We'll strike at Earth itself, make it look like a natural disaster. Without their homeworld, the humans will crumble." The group agreed, unaware that their conversation was being recorded by a tiny drone. On the other side of the galaxy, Emily Chen listened in, her face grim. Back on Earth, progress continued at a breakneck pace. Cities gleamed with advanced technology. The Mars colonies were thriving. Humanity reached further into space, establishing outposts throughout their solar system. In a high-tech command center, the Earth Defense Force monitored the planet and surrounding space. General Maria Rodriguez studied the holographic displays, proud of how far they'd come. A young lieutenant rushed in. "General, we're detecting a large object on approach. It's like nothing we've seen before." Maria frowned. "Show me." A hologram shifted, revealing a massive asteroid-like object hurtling towards Earth. But its course was too perfect, its speed too controlled. "It's not natural," Maria realized. "This is an attack." She hit the alarm. Around the world, defense systems sprang to life. In orbit, Earth's new fleet moved to intercept. John, in the middle of a council session, received the urgent message. He stood abruptly, startling the alien delegates. "Earth is under attack," he announced. "We request immediate assistance from the council." Chaos erupted in the chamber. Some delegates called for action, others hesitated. The council elder raised its 4 arms for silence. "We cannot act without proof. For all we know, this could be a natural phenomenon." John's eyes flashed with anger. "Millions of lives are at stake. Will you abandon us when we need you most?" As the council argued, John made a decision. He activated his communicator, sending a message to all members of the Galactic Emergence Alliance. "Friends, Earth needs you. Will you stand with us?" Across the galaxy, ships from 24 worlds changed course, racing to Earth's aid. The Alliance would have its first test in fire. On Earth, tensions mounted. The mysterious object grew larger in the sky. Defense forces stood ready, but fear gripped the population. Would Earth's new allies arrive in time? Would their combined strength be enough? And who was behind this attack? As the final hours ticked down, the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galactic order hung in the balance. The next few moments would change everything. The massive asteroid-like object loomed ever closer to Earth. Panic spread across the planet as people watched the skies, fearing the worst. In orbit, Earth's defense fleet stood ready. General Maria Rodriguez's voice crackled over the comm system. "All ships, hold your positions. We can't let that thing reach the atmosphere. John Smith, racing back to Earth in his fastest ship, felt helpless. He had failed to convince the Council to act. Now, everything depended on the strength of the newly formed Galactic Emergence Alliance. Suddenly, alarms blared on John's ship. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected. His AI reported. John held his breath. Friend or foe? To his relief, ships began popping into existence around Earth's orbit. The distinctive designs of Proxima b, Tau Ceti, and other Alliance members filled the space. "This is Captain Zell of Proxima b," a squeaky voice announced. "The Alliance stands with Earth." Cheers erupted across Earth's fleet. They were no longer alone. But the celebration was short-lived. The asteroid, now clearly revealed as an artificial construct, began to break apart. Hundreds of smaller ships emerge, weapons charging. "It's a trick," Maria shouted. "All ships, engage." The space around Earth erupted in battle. Energy beams crisscrossed the void. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. On the ground, Emily Chen worked frantically. The drone that had recorded the plotters' conversation had given them an advantage. She and her team raced to identify the attackers. "Got it," she exclaimed. "Sending data to the fleet now." In space, John received the information. His eyes widened in shock. "These ships, they're from Council worlds, the very ones who rejected us." He broadcast the data to all Alliance ships. "Don't destroy them if you can avoid it. We need proof for the Council." The battle raged on. Earth's advanced technology, combined with the diverse abilities of their allies, began to turn the tide. Alliance ships used tactics the attackers had never seen before, confusing and outmaneuvering them. John's ship dove into the fray. He targeted the engines and weapons of enemy ships, disabling rather than destroying them. On Earth, defenses activated. Energy shields flickered to life over major cities. Anti-orbital cannons fired, picking off attackers that got too close. Hours passed. The space around Earth became a graveyard of disabled ships and debris. Slowly, the attack faltered. Finally, the remaining enemy ships began to retreat. A cheer went up from the Allied fleet. Earth was saved. But John knew the battle wasn't over. All ships with tractor beams, capture as many disabled enemy vessels as you can. We need evidence. As the dust settled, the true scale of the victory became clear. Earth and its allies had not only repelled the attack, but had captured dozens of enemy ships and crews. John wasted no time. He sent a message directly to the Galactic Council, bypassing normal protocols. Emergency session required immediately. Evidence of Council members attacking Earth. Violation of galactic law. The response was swift. The Council chamber filled in record time, delegates murmuring in confusion and concern. John stood before them, his face stern. Today, Earth and its allies repelled an unprovoked attack. An attack orchestrated by members of this very council. Gasps and shouts filled the chamber. John held up a hand. "We have proof. Captured ships, prisoners. And this." He played the recording from Emily's drone. The plotters' voices filled the chamber, their guilt clear for all to hear. Chaos erupted. Accused council members tried to flee, only to be stopped by security. Others demanded immediate action. The council elder, looking older than ever, raised its arms for silence. "This is a grave day for the council," it said solemnly. "We have failed in our duty. Earth and its allies have shown us the true meaning of galactic cooperation." It turned to John. "Earth has more than proven its worth. We offer you full membership, effective immediately, and we humbly request your help in reforming the Council to prevent such atrocities from happening again." John looked around the chamber, seeing a mix of shame, respect, and hope on alien faces. He nodded slowly. "Earth accepts on one condition. All members of the Galactic Emergence Alliance must be given fair consideration for membership." The elder nodded. "Agreed. Let this be the dawn of a new era for our galaxy." As the council session adjourned, John knew that the real work was just beginning. But for the first time, he felt true hope for a united, peaceful galaxy. Earth had not just earned its place among the stars, it had changed the very nature of galactic politics. The revenge they had sought had turned into something far greater. A chance to build a better future for all species. 5 years had passed since the attack on Earth and the dramatic council session that followed. The galaxy had changed in ways few could have imagined. John Smith stood at the podium in the newly constructed Galactic Unity Center on Earth. Before him, representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered for the 5th anniversary of the Galactic Reformation Treaty. Friends, allies, honored guests, John began, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. 5 years ago, we stood on the brink of destruction. Today, we celebrate a new era of cooperation and progress. He gestured to the diverse crowd. Species that once shunned each other now sat side by side. Former council worlds mingled with newly admitted members from the Galactic Emergence Alliance. The old council is gone, John continued. In its place, we have built something stronger. A true democracy where every voice is heard, every species valued. The changes had been sweeping. The corrupt council members behind the attack faced justice. The new government, now called the Galactic Union, welcomed species based on their potential and values, not just their current technological level. Earth played a central role in these changes. Humans' adaptability and creative problem-solving made them natural mediators between different alien cultures. Emily Chen, now head of the Galactic Science Cooperative, stepped up to the podium. In just 5 years, she said, our combined scientific efforts have yielded amazing results. We've cured diseases that plagued multiple species for centuries. We've developed new clean energy sources that work on any world. She brought up a hologram showing a barren planet transforming into a lush, habitable world. And our joint terraforming project has given hope to countless species whose homeworlds were dying. The chamber erupted in applause. This project, combining Earth's advanced terraforming techniques with alien bioengineering, had already saved 3 endangered species from extinction. Next, General Maria Rodriguez, commander of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force, addressed the gathering. We've turned potential enemies into allies, she said proudly. Our diverse fleet now patrols the galaxy, not to conquer, but to protect and assist. She highlighted their recent successes, preventing a devastating solar flare from hitting a populated system, rescuing the crew of a damaged ship deep in uncharted space, and mediating a centuries-old conflict between 2 alien races. As the speeches continued, John reflected on how far they'd come. Earth, once dismissed as primitive, now stood as a beacon of progress and unity. But challenges remained. Not everyone embraced the new order. Some former council worlds, stripped of their old privileges, resented the changes. Rumors of a growing purity movement, advocating for isolation from other species, troubled John. And there were the mysteries of the greater universe to consider. Strange signals from beyond the galaxy's edge hinted at unknown civilizations or phenomena. The Galactic Union would need to be strong and united to face whatever lay ahead. John's thoughts were interrupted as the furry Proximan delegate, now a close friend, approached. Quite a change from our secret meetings 5 years ago, eh, John? He squeaked. John smiled. Indeed, Zix. I never imagined we'd come this far. Zix's fur rippled in amusement. Humans, always underestimating yourselves. We believed in you from the start. As the ceremony concluded, the gathered representatives moved to the grand banquet hall. The air buzzed with a dozen translation devices as species who could never have communicated before shared stories and ideas. John watched it all with a sense of pride and wonder. Earth had sought revenge, but found something far greater. They had sparked a galactic renaissance, bringing together the best aspects of countless cultures. In a quiet moment, he slipped away to a balcony overlooking the city. The skyline of New Geneva, Earth's new capital, blended human architecture with alien influences. Ships from 100 worlds zipped through the skylanes. Emily joined him, handing him a drink. "Thinking deep thoughts?" she asked. John nodded. "We've achieved so much, but I can't help but wonder, what's next? What new challenges await us out there?" Emily smiled, looking up at the stars now visible in the darkening sky. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together. Not just as humans, but as a united galaxy." As night fell, the city lit up, a beacon of hope visible from orbit. Earth, once a small blue marble on the galactic fringe, now stood at the center of a new age of exploration, diplomacy, and unity. The revenge they had sought had transformed into a legacy that would echo through the cosmos for generations to come.